Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Can you please confirm if I'm audible? Okay, I think I'm audible. So, hi Ashok, hi everyone. So, I think we should begin with the session. So, hello everyone, welcome to EduTap's another insightful session of Perspective 360 degree, where we do current affair based answer writing practice in a detailed and structured manner. So if you are an aspirant preparing for exams like RBI, NABARD, etc., then this initiative is definitely going to help you with answer writing practice for the descriptive paper of phase 2. So let us begin with the discussion, and good evening to each and every one of you. Good evening Karthik, good evening Gagana, and the topic that we have chosen for today is, okay, I will change this heading, not Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samriddhi Sahay Yojana. The topic for today is zero budget natural farming. This is going to be the topic of our discussion, and you must have seen it in the thumbnail also. And the context of this topic, why we are going to cover this topic as a part of our discussion, because recently NABARD had published a research paper that warned against the switch to natural farming. It means the research paper talked about the complete switch to the natural farming at this point of time, and we are going to see why NABARD said so, what was the reason behind that, what are the issues that the NABARD has raised with respect to the natural farming and zero budget natural farming. And there were also different articles related to it. So since this topic has been mentioned as a part of your syllabus, I mean not directly, but it falls under the Indian agriculture in the NABARD Grade B syllabus, and in the RBI Grade B syllabus, and in the NABARD Grade A also you have this theme agriculture. So this topic falls under this category. Now if you are somebody who is new to our Perspective 360 degree initiative, then let me tell you that here firstly we give you an expected question, and we are going to discuss this question as a part of this session. And once this session is done, you have to write the answer of this expected question in the comment box. That will be evaluated by our team within 48 hours. So if today is Friday, so you have to submit your answer before Monday. Sunday is off, so you have to submit your answer before Monday 5 p.m. And let me also add that this whole initiative is free of cost. So I hope it is clear to you. Now let us see today's expected question with respect to this topic, which is, what are the key benefits of zero budget natural farming and what challenges of or concerns does it pose for farmers and agricultural systems? Now if we talk about the answer writing practice, then the first step, the usual approach or the standard approach that we follow is by identifying the keywords. So the keywords that we can easily identify in this question are, firstly, the broadest theme of this question is the zero budget natural farming, and with respect to that the major keywords are the benefits of zero budget natural farming and also the challenges or concerns related to it. So this is how we are going to put our headings in the answer. So when we talk about the answer blueprint, we have to divide your answer into the introduction, the body and the conclusion. And the introduction should be around 10 to 12% of the total word limit, and the same rule applies to the conclusion also. The rest of the word limit should be allocated to the body part, where you will divide your body in the form of different headings and subheadings, and under it you will write your different points, which you will substantiate with the help of different data, facts and examples. So I hope it is clear to you. Now let us move on to the next part, which is this we have already discussed, that in the introduction what we are going to write, we are going to write a brief overview regarding zero budget natural farming, because the question is related to, the theme of the question is zero budget natural farming. And then the body part 1, the benefits, and the challenges, and at the end what we are going to do, we are going to write the conclusion, which is the summary of this answer. So before we talk directly about the introduction part, let me give you a brief highlight, a brief idea regarding what is zero budget natural farming. So zero budget natural farming is a type of practice in agriculture which, so zero budget natural farming is a practice that aims to eliminate use of synthetic inputs. Now, what type of synthetic inputs? Such as the fertilizers, the chemical fertilizers, then the pesticides, weedicides, etc. So the first aim of this zero budget natural farming is to eliminate the use of these synthetic inputs. Also, in addition to that, it aims to reduce the dependence on external inputs. Now, what type of external inputs? Such as the water and energy. Now you would be thinking that how the agriculture is going to continue without using the water. So let me tell you that it is not talking about the elimination of the external inputs. It is only talking about the reduction of these external inputs. By reduction we mean to optimize the use of these external inputs such as water. And how it is going to optimize that? By using the natural farming techniques, which is a part of this zero budget natural farming. So the techniques such as the mulching, the techniques such as the WAPSA, we are going to understand these terms in a detailed manner, which promote the water retention in the crops. So this is the basic approach behind zero budget natural farming. And why it is called zero budget? Why do we call it zero budget? It is called zero budget because it promotes the idea that farmers, let me change the pen. So it promotes the idea that farmers need to spend no money on external inputs. And what they are going to rely upon, this whole approach promotes farmers to rely on the inputs that are there in the farm only. So whatever inputs or whatever technology or the readily available material that is there in the farm, this technique aims to use only those inputs only and not the external inputs. And that's why it is called the zero budget farming, because the farmer does not has to make any expense with respect to the external inputs which or the synthetic inputs such as the pesticides, fertilizers, or the advanced machinery for irrigation, all those type of things. So a zero budget natural farming provides the alternative to that. So this is the basic understanding regarding the zero budget natural farming. So now let us move on to the introduction part. So let us start with the definition that zero budget natural farming is an agriculture practice that emphasizes minimal external input. I have told you the external input such as the water, energy, and the pesticides, fertilizers, and relies on the natural processes to maintain the soil fertility and crop health. So zero budget natural farming aims to promote farming without the use of chemicals and the use of credit. Credit means the spending. By relying on the tools or the resources that are there or readily available in the farm only. So that's how it promotes the farming without the use of chemicals and without the use of credits. So this initiative of zero budget natural farming was formulated by Subhash Palekar in India on the basis of four essential elements, namely Bij Amrit, then Jeev Amrit, mulching, and the WAPSA. Now let me erase the ink. So what do you mean by Bij Amrit? Bij Amrit means the seed treatment. And seed treatment with what? It promotes seed treatment with the natural solutions like the cow urine, then cow dung, jaggery, and etc. And what does it lead to? It leads to the boosting of, it boosts the seed viability and its germination. And in addition to that, it also boosts the pest resistance. So this is about the Bij Amrit, that includes the treatment of the seeds with the natural solutions such as cow urine, cow dung and jaggery. The second is the Jeev Amrit. So as the name suggests, it just like in case of Bij Amrit means Bij ka Amrit. So using natural solutions for the Bij. So similarly we have Jeev Amrit. It means Amrit for the Jeev. Jeev means the organisms, the living organisms. So in this case these are the microbes or microbial organisms. So what does it do? It again uses the nutrients such as, the inputs such as the natural inputs like cow dung, then cow urine, and it ferments these ingredients with the soil. And what does it lead to? It increases the soil fertility. The third is the mulching. Now mulching refers to the technique of covering the soil surface with organic products. Now what type of organic products can be used with respect to that? The organic products such as the crop residues, then the straws, leaves, etc. And what does it lead to? This leads to increase in the water retention in the soil. Apart from that, what happens is that all these things, the crop residues, straws and leaves, which are the organic products, when these organic products decompose, then what happens? These organic products mix with the soil and eventually leads to increase in the fertility of the soil. So it also enhances the soil fertility. The last is the Wapsa. So Wapsa refers to the collecting and conserving the rainwater. So how does it aim to collect and conserve the rainwater? By using techniques in the farms or the agricultural fields like the counter bunding, which includes the building of embankments in the field, then also such as the ponds, the small ponds in the farms. All this type of techniques which leads to collecting and conservation of rainwater. So this is what is promoted by the zero budget natural farming and is an essential pillar of it. So now I hope you got all these points and you have understood all these terms. So let us see the next part, which is the status of zero budget natural farming in India. So currently 11 states practice zero budget natural farming in over 6.5 lakh hectares, and states like Andhra Pradesh, so Andhra Pradesh is one of the leading states with respect to the zero budget natural farming, that adopted zero budget natural farming over 1 lakh hectares of land, and it aims to convert its entire agriculture land pool under zero budget natural farming by 2027. So this is the approach regarding the zero budget natural farming. So overall, if we summarize it, then the zero budget natural farming promotes the sustainability in the agriculture. This is also you can write in your introduction as a line that it promotes sustainability, then the biodiversity, it improves the soil health and reduces financial burden on farmers. So this is something, we can summarize it, that what zero budget natural farming is all about. Also, one thing that I would like you to know is that do not confuse this zero budget natural farming. Let me open the white screen. Do not confuse this zero budget natural farming with the organic farming. Both the terms are different. The zero budget natural farming promotes zero external intervention, whereas the organic farming promotes minimal external intervention. Now how can we differentiate that? For example, if we talk about the pesticides, then if you follow the zero budget natural farming in your farm, then the zero budget natural farming talks about the zero use of pesticides. It does not talk about pesticides, whatever type of those pesticides are. It only relies on only those resources that are readily available in your field or in your surroundings of the farm. Whereas when we talk about the organic farming, it talks about the usage of organic fertilizers only. So it stops the farmers from using the synthetic fertilizers but promotes the organic fertilizers. So this is the basic difference between the organic farming and the zero budget natural farming. And the third one is the type of inorganic farming, which we all know, which is the farming that is practiced in the majority of the regions that practice all type of these fertilizers, pesticides, and different type of techniques, irrigational techniques, and all those things. So this is the difference between the zero budget natural farming and the organic farming. So do not confuse between these terms. Now let us move on to the next part, which is the benefits of the zero budget natural farming, which is the first part of the body. Now when we talk about the benefits of zero budget natural farming, then the first benefit is regarding the cost reduction and the economic viability. We have already understood how the zero budget natural farming leads to cost reduction because it does not promote any type of expenditure on the external input. So that's how it promotes the cost reduction, and naturally it leads to the economic viability of the farmers and increase their income because of the increase in the savings of the farmers. So what farmers can do, instead of doing the expenditure on the external inputs, they can invest in the better techniques, or I would say they can invest in better machinery or technology in their field. I mean, they can this will also reduce the debt of the farmers, because you must have heard about the suicide cases of the farmers, where a lot of farmers commit suicide because of the debt. So this also reduces the debt on the farmers, because farmers do not need a lot of income, a lot of financial resources in order to run their agricultural fields. So this is the first benefits or the first advantage of zero budget natural farming. Now let us go through the lines. So zero budget natural farming reduces income cost of farmers by eliminating or minimizing the need of expensive external inputs such as chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and the savings on input cost translate into the higher profits for farmers that contribute to the economic viability and reducing their financial risks. The third is, by adopting zero budget natural farming, farmers can break the cycle of debt associated with purchasing costly agrochemicals, leading to improved livelihood and economic resilience. So they can use the resources somewhere else. So this is the point. The second point is regarding the improved soil health and fertility. So naturally, when we will use only the natural resources for our field and use the natural techniques such as the mulching, the wapsa, Bij Amrit, and we are not depending on any kind of external input or any kind of synthetic input, what does it lead to? It improves the soil health and the fertility, and this also increases the yield of the agriculture field. So zero budget natural farming such as mulching, use of natural fertilizers, and minimal soil disturbance enhances soil fertility and health, and increased soil organic matter content improves soil structure, water retention capacity, and nutrient availability, leading to better crop growth and productivity. Third, enhanced soil health promotes biodiversity in the soil ecosystem. That includes beneficial microorganisms, which further contributes to the sustainable agriculture. So this is regarding the second point. The third is regarding the crop resilience and the stability. So of course this is very obvious that if the second point is fulfilled, if the soil health is increasing, if the fertility is maintained, then automatically, naturally, it will lead to the crop resilience and the yields stability. So the diversification of crops and reliance on indigenous seeds make zero budget natural farms more resilient to the climatic variations and extreme weather events such as droughts and floods. Secondly, the crop rotation and the intercropping. Now, what do you mean by crop rotation? Crop rotation means growing crops, growing different crops in same field over different seasons or years. And so what does it mean? For example, let us take the example of the leguminous crops such as beans. If what 1 year or 2 years you are growing leguminous crops in your soils which naturally help in the nitrogen fixation, then what can you do after 2 years? You can grow the cereals in your field. Cereals such as the wheat, the corn, etc. So this is nothing but crop rotation. What does it help in? It helps to reduce the pests and the weeds in the field. So it boosts the resistance from the pests and the weeds. The second is the intercropping. So intercropping, how intercropping is different from the crop rotation? Intercropping means growing different crops in same field simultaneously. So it also helps in different ways in order to save the efficient use of resources such as the sunlight and water. So for example, if I give you an example, then growing of tall crops and the short crops on the same field, what does it help in? It helps to maximize the utilization of space and light. So this is an example of intercropping, and similarly it also helps in the pest resistance in the agriculture fields. So by following such natural techniques such as the crop rotation, intercropping, mulching, all those type of techniques, then Bij Amrit, then what is happening? It is reducing the risk of crop failures and ensuring stability over the yields. Then the third point is regarding increased stability ensures the food security for farming community and mitigates the impact of market fluctuations on farmers' incomes. So I hope you have understood this point. The third point is regarding the environmental sustainability. So this point is also very easy, because when you will use the natural techniques in your agricultural fields, then what will it lead to? It lead to the environmental sustainability. It will help you to promote the biodiversity in the field. So all these points. So this is also a major benefit of the zero budget natural farming. So zero budget natural farming minimizes the environmental footprint. Environmental footprint means the impact of humans on environment. So what does it do? It minimizes the environmental footprint by reducing the chemical inputs, because when we use the synthetic chemicals or fertilizers in the field, what does it lead to? It reduces the after a period of time, it reduces the soil fertility. So what it is doing? It is increasing the environmental footprint in the agricultural fields. So if we follow the natural techniques such as a zero budget natural farming, then it will promote the environmental sustainability, and it also minimizes the environmental footprint. So somebody is writing in the chat box, areca nut and beetle. Yes, that's a right example. So inorganic, yes, all of you are giving the right examples. Then the second point is regarding elimination of synthetic pesticides and fertilizers that reduce water pollution, soil degradation, negative impacts on non-target organisms, including pollinators and beneficial insects. So the thing is that all these things, what it is doing, it is minimizing the environmental footprint and increasing the environmental sustainability. So this is also a benefit of zero budget natural farming. The next is the health benefits and the food safety. Since we are producing the foods or the crops by reducing the chemical substances, then what it is doing, it is naturally leading to the safe and the nutritious food which is good for the human health and well-being. So reduced pesticide residues in crops contribute to lower health risk for consumers, including farmers and their families, and it also enhances nutrition quality of food produced through zero budget natural farming practices. The next point is social equality and empowerment. So of course what it will do, if there is reduction of costs, if there is economic viability of farmers, then what it will lead to, it will also increase the income of the farmers, and that will make the farmer community more empowered. So this is regarding this point that the zero budget natural farming empowers small scale farmers, because small scale farmers have less resources to grow their field, and this zero budget natural farming, which is of course zero budget, so it involves minimal costs or no costs of investment. So that's why it empowers the small scale farmers, especially marginalized and resource poor farmers, by providing them with low cost sustainable farming methods that are accessible and culturally appropriate. Then the community based knowledge sharing and farmer to farmer extension networks foster social cohesion, collective action and mutual support among farming communities, strengthening rural and livelihood resilience. So I hope these points are clear to you. Now let us move on to the third part, which is the challenges. So Deepak is writing less dependence on outside sources. Yes, exactly, Deepak. Your point is valid and right. Mini Sharma is asking, do we need to write definition every time? Mini Sharma, I will answer your question at the end of this session, that what are the different type of ways to start the introduction. I will touch it very briefly, otherwise the class will become very lengthy, but I will give you some idea regarding it. So the next part is regarding the issues related to zero budget natural farming. So the first point is regarding the labor intensive nature. So when we talk about the zero budget natural farming, so these are the issues that I have highlighted. These are the issues that were used by the NABARD in its research paper, the news that I have discussed with you. So all the issues were discussed in that research paper only. So we are going to understand it one by one. So the first is the labor intensive nature of the zero budget natural farming. So of course the thing about zero budget natural farming is that it involves the minimal use of machinery and other type of inputs, the external inputs. So what does it lead to? It makes the farmers more dependent on doing the agriculture work. So they will have what will happen when it promotes the less machinery and the inputs, it will promote more manual working. They will have to do the work manually, so manual labor. So this is an important issue, because let us go through the slides. So it leads to the manual labor, and so the zero budget natural farming requires a significant amount of manual labor, both in the farmland and also in the maintenance of livestock. So it relies heavily on the manual labor of various activities such as the seed treatment, the mulching, the weeding and the harvesting. All these type of techniques, the farmer will have to do by manual approach. So this increases the time and makes the process more labor intensive. The second is preparation of natural inputs such as the beej amrit by using the cow dung, cow urine, the natural jaggery, all this type of things. So what farmer have to do? Farmer have to keep on preparing these things, so which requires the time and effort to collect and process materials, and which makes this process more labor intensive in nature. The next is the debatable concept of zero cost input. So as per the one of the issues that have been highlighted in the research paper, that this zero cost input is debatable, that there is nothing like zero cost with respect to the zero budget natural farming. So while zero budget natural farming promotes the idea of zero budget farming by minimizing external inputs, achieving a truly zero cost agriculture is difficult. So even though inputs like the agriculture and family labor are freely available, there are opportunity costs associated with utilizing these resources. So what do we mean by opportunity cost? Opportunity cost means the value of next best alternative. after the decision is made. Now, what do you mean by this statement that there are opportunity costs associated utilizing these resources? So, as I have already told you that this whole process of zero budget natural farming is very much labor intensive. So, if we had to do this same process or this same output by using the machinery, and if suppose if there is a farm and there are four laborers, so if we will add the machinery to this field, then what will happen? The number of laborers will reduce. So from 4 it will become 2. But what will happen if you will remove the machinery and all other external inputs? Then it will increase the labor, make the process more labor intensive, so it may increase the labors from 4 to 6. So what will happen? This will create the disguise unemployment, because these much of farmers, the time and effort that they are spending in this field, they could have used this these time and efforts for their personal and other professional goals. I mean, they could have applied for other jobs, and they could have generated income activities by doing other type of employment activities also. So what does it do? Though it minimizes the costs, zero budget natural farming, though it minimizes the cost, but opportunity costs are still there. It means the other opportunities that are available with the farmers that he could have used if he had not used this zero budget natural farming, this opportunity cost is increasing. So that's why this makes the process of this makes the process of the zero budget natural farming as zero budget, so as debatable. So this concept is debatable. So even though inputs like rainwater harvesting, family labor are considered freely available, there are opportunity costs attached to it. So the concept of zero budget inputs in ZBNF is debatable and varies depending on factors such as the farm size, labor activity and resource availability. So I hope you got this point. If you have not understood it, I can repeat it. So if you know about disguised unemployment, so this point is very easier to understand. The next point is regarding the yield variations. So no doubt that this zero budget natural farming increases the yield, but as per the issue that has been highlighted in the research paper by NABARD, so according to it, in zero budget natural farming, yield variations can be more pronounced compared to the conventional farming methods, because crop productivity is influenced by natural factors such as rainfall, temperature and soil conditions, and farmers practicing ZBNF may experience fluctuations in yield from season to season, as the performance of crop is largely determined by environmental conditions beyond their control. So the meaning of this point is that the zero budget natural farming does not promote the advanced irrigation facilities such as the precision farming, the precision agriculture, all type of those advanced irrigation facilities that improve the efficiency of the agriculture field. So it does not promote these advanced irrigation facilities, because it does not promote any type of external input, it does not promote any such type of investments in the field. So what happens is that it makes the farm or the productivity of the farms more dependent on the natural inputs only. So what will happen if the rainfall is not there? So this will affect the zero budget natural farming. This will affect the yield of the crops, which will vary from the season to season. So managing yield variations is the challenge of zero budget natural farmers and requires adaptive strategies such as the crop diversification, water management techniques. But this is an important issue with respect to this whole methodology. The next point is regarding high maintenance cost of indigenous cows. So we have already seen that how the methods such as the Bij Amrit, and all those type of other methods that are dependent on the cow dung and the cow urine. So what happens? It increases the cost, or it leads to the high maintenance of cost of the indigenous cow breeds, because indigenous cow breeds are integral to zero budget natural farming practices due to their role in providing the natural inputs such as cow dung, urine for fertilizers and the pest control. However, maintaining indigenous cow breeds can be costly for farmers, as these breeds have often have lower milk yields compared to high yielding exotic breeds, and farmers practicing zero budget natural farming may face challenges in balancing the cost of maintenance indigenous cows with the benefits derived from their use in farming practices. So this is an important issue which shows that the zero budget natural farming is exactly not of zero cost. So let us move on to the next issue, which is the lack of independent studies validating the higher yields. So while proponents of zero budget natural farming claims higher yields compared to non-zero budget natural farming plot, there is lack of independent studies to validate these claims. So the point is that there is lack of research with respect to this technique. So there is absence of the scientific research, the scientific evidence in order to prove that the zero budget natural farming evidently leads to the higher yield. So what do we need in order to solve this issue, in order to make this technique into more practice? More research and development is needed, more scientific approach is needed, so that the actual productivity and the comparative advantages can be compared with respect to the zero budget natural farming and the traditional or the conventional farming methods. So independent studies evaluating the yield performance, economic viability and environmental sustainability of ZBNF are needed to provide evidence-based insights and informed policy decisions. So these are the different issues related to the zero budget natural farming. Now the last part is the conclusion, the usual approach that we follow. So let me repeat it again, that firstly we write the starter, then the explanation of the starter, and then a way forward. So in the starter we repeat or we rephrase the thesis that has been mentioned in the question, and in the explanation part we give the reason, the why part of the starter, why do we think, why we are taking the certain stand of the argument while we are rephrasing the sentence that have been given in the question. We will understand it when we will read the conclusion, and the last part is the way forward, what we need to do in the future. So when we talk about the conclusion related to the zero budget natural farming, so zero budget natural farming is vital for sustainable agriculture, offering benefits like reduced chemical dependence and improved soil health. So what we are doing, this is our starter portion, because the question was asking about the zero budget natural farming. So what we are doing, we are saying that the zero budget natural farming is vital for sustainable agriculture. Now the next part, the explanation part, why do we think so? Because it offers benefits like reduced chemical dependency and improved soil health. However, it also comes with its own set of challenges, including labor incentiveness, knowledge and skill requirements. So what we are doing, since the question was asking about, let me take you back to the questions. The question was asking about the zero budget natural farming and the benefits and the challenges. So in the conclusion we are highlighting that, we are saying that yes, zero budget natural farming is important because of these benefits. However, it also have the challenges. So we are addressing both the aspects of the question, the positive, the negatives, and what is the way forward, what we need to do in the future. There is need to emphasize on scientific studies across the country to find efficacy and efficiency of the farming techniques across various landscapes and ecosystems. Also, impetus to the indigenous cow breeds like the Puna Ganur cow, then the Red Sindhi. These are the indigenous cow breeds. They can also be done through various government and cooperative initiatives, through thereby increasing their numbers. So this is the way forward regarding the zero budget natural farming in order to minimize its inefficiencies and dealing with the challenges. So I hope you have understood the points. So this is the question that you the answer of which you have to write in the comment box before Monday 5 p.m. So somebody was asking in the comment section that do we always have to write the definition only? So this was asked by Mini Sharma. So Mini, I will tell you very briefly that usually as a standard approach we write 4 type of introduction depending on the type of question that has been asked, such as we can start the introduction by giving the fact or data with respect to the theme that has been mentioned in the question. Then we can also write introduction by starting it with the current happening or any current event with respect to that particular question. For example, if the question is on NPA, which is non-performing assets, then what you can do, you can write any current happening or data with respect to what has been happening in the news. Then the third type is the introduction with respect to the definition. if the question is asking some type of technical word, a technical term is involved. For example, zero budget national farming is a technical term. You need to define this term. You can define this term, but I mean, if the term is very general, then you do not need to define it. You can use other type of introduction, such as the fact, data, and the current happening, all those type of things that is there in the news. Then the fourth type of introduction is the quote based introduction. Usually we use this type of introduction in our management answers. I mean, the answers that are philosophical in nature, such as the ethics and all those type of things. So these are the basically different type of introductions that we can write. So I hope the doubt is clear to you, and I hope this session was helpful for you. So thank you so much and all the best. So if anybody has any other doubt, you can write in the chat box. So I think we are done with the session, and let me end the stream.